Welcome to the fourth video, third review, final thing that we'll have to cover this evening in Sumire, however you pronounce this thing. Like, Yalix, how do you pronounce this?
Sumire?
Sumire. Like, alright, anyway. One day, one life.
It means
Sumire.
violet like the flower, I believe.
That's that's actually important because, let me read this. Sumire is a magical narrative adventure about choices made and dreams lost and found. Embark on a mysterious journey to help Sumire achieve her deepest wishes before the day ends and the sky turns to twilight. Yeah, flowers, big ass motif in this thing. Like, Sumire has a flower in her hair. Her best friend is a ghost flower of some kind who's around for just a day, and presumably taking Sumire to the 8 Mile. When this game says it's a narrative adventure game, it actually does mean that. And that is to say, this isn't one of those adventure games where it's basically a book in gamey form. I don't mean like a visual novel, because you might notice it's a 3D movement type game. But the narrative here is, I guess the best way to put it, choose your own adventure. Because you are presented with a series of choices, not just dialogue choices, but one example that comes to mind: helping a scarecrow. There's a lot of inanimate objects that come to life in this thing. Anyway, the scarecrow has a dilemma where he's not being taken seriously by the crows that he's supposed to scare, which I feel like was something that was in like the Wizard of Oz. But he wants a hat, and eventually you'll come across a hat, and one of the choices that you have is, do you go and give the hat to the scarecrow, or do you even go back to the scarecrow? Because he's actually a timed event. He spells it out very plainly, complete with, special highlighted text. This game does like doing that, where he's only going to be available until lunchtime, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, something like that. So your time window is limited. That being said, given the pacing and the lack of urgency in the game, it's not that, there's not a lot of pressure either. Probably because it's also, you can go and do this or not. I'm not your mom. Yeah, by the way, your mom is a quest in this because she is suffering from depression over her husband, Sumire's father, leaving. Like, the story we're given here, at least at the onset, is that he's disappeared. He may have walked out. He may have, gone off the side of a cliff. We don't know. Now, just one of the many things to uncover in the game. At least I presume. I'll be honest. This game has a lot going for it. It's got a very distinct and colorful art style. It's got a lot of actual gameplay, which is not an easy feat for a narrative adventure game to pull off. Now, sometimes it does that with awful mini games. where you have to like tap the button, or you have to like deal with red light, green light with stupid crows. These kind of mini games tend to be awful, no matter what the game is, and this is no exception. Just putting that card on the table. And yeah, like there's not a whole lot of places to visit. Also, there's not just an inventory system, but there's a currency system, because you will get coins for doing tasks and just finding coins around on the ground, and you can use that to buy things. And yes, they will be quest important for certain things. Like there's a quest where you have to write something down, and you have the option to get two kinds of pens. I wasn't exactly sure what the gold pen did. I didn't get that far. Like honestly, I kind of stopped playing because the game lost my interest. Not for anything of its own. It's just I just didn't find the story all that compelling. That's a subjective thing. Like everything here is well put together, outside of the aforementioned mini games. Really, they could have cut that out, and I would say this would be a better game. And honestly, that's about all I have. Yeah, it's a pretty short game. It's a pretty small game, to the point where this game actually has an award for it. It is Game of the Year, short game, from DDNet. Small Game of the Year 2021, gold medal. So it won an award over its smallness. And with that in mind, in terms of pricing, kind of the theme this week, seems like we had a bunch of ultra cheap games lined up this week. Not intentionally, just sometimes it lines up that way. But this game's going for $6, and I can heartily recommend it for that price. And there's also a demo, so if you want to try before you buy, you can do that as well. Yeah, so I'll see if my compatriots here have anything further they want to add.
Not really.
No, it looks like a cute game.
Right then. So yeah, that'll about do it for Sumire here. So, and that'll also conclude this week's Fragments of Silicon reviews. So, coming up on the week ahead, if I can get to the right spot here. Right, so coming up on Wednesday, August 20th, we'll be having Tyler Darren of Something Classic Games LLC. We will be talking about their upcoming game, Quartet, which is actually releasing, if I'm remembering correctly, next week. So, yeah, getting really close to release. Anyway, as far as what this game is, a series of train robberies leads to evidence of a government conspiracy. A mysterious deck of cards gives a young girl a vision of another world. A fleet of deadly airships burns a path across the Imperial frontier. The world's unlikeliest hero manifests tremendous magical power. These stories intertwine in the world of Quartet. Before it's all over, the 8 heroes will uncover how a secret, centuries-old conflict will reshape the world. They will have their own decisions to make about the destiny of magic. I suppose that tells you what the game's about, but not what it is. And that is, it's another homage to 16-bit RPGs, which do crop up surprisingly often on this program, whether it be review or interview. Like I remember that Shrine's Legacy game we covered not too long ago, for example. But yeah, that's coming on Wednesday. On Friday, we will be welcoming Maria Korotkova of Odavan Games. I probably butchered all that, but Slavic languages and my tongue do not get along. Anyway, they are the developers of the upcoming games Frontier, Path of Shadows, and Potion Making, Path of the Alchemist. Frontier, Path of Shadows. Fight enemies, upgrade your squad, and explore new planets. Make tough choices and shape the fate of an entire sector in Frontier, Path of Shadows. Experience a richly crafted 25th century world and tactical combat where XCOM meets Final Fantasy. Potion Making, Path of the Alchemist. You are a gifted alchemist summoned by the First Tree. The brilliant master Fusinelli made a terrible mistake. Now all life has vanished. Brew elixirs, gather crystal tokens, and pass through the three sanctums of power to bring life back. So, yeah. And we do have a new episode of MSP planned. All indicators do seem to point in the direction of Mac returning this week. So, look forward to that. And until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.